Hello, I am Teresa Phelps Martin, and I'm bringing this video to you to help unpack some of what I offer. And that offering is so that we can live more consciously and connected to what matters to us, our purpose, and just really our truth, and embracing this precious life we've been given. So I believe that we are all, little earthly beings living on this planet, but I truly believe that at the core of everybody is a sacred essence. And that sacred energy is something that we're given this opportunity to connect to and listen to and work with and really allow it to come alive in this lifetime. So, how I frame this is really looking at the cycles of life. And the cycles of life are true, right? We have each year, and each year is created by the way the earth actually moves around the sun. And then we have each month, right? My 6-year-old son is learning the names of the months of the year, the names of them, sorry, right now. So we have this repetition, and repetition is really powerful because it gives us structure, and it helps us kind of orchestrate our lives and the energy of our life. And then obviously we have the cycle of seasons. We have, winter, spring, summer, fall. We also have the cycle of our breath. We have the inhale, the exhale. Well, the earth goes through cycles, and we're part of a bigger system, right? We could even say we go through the cycle of, infancy, childhood, adolescence, young adults, professional of some level, right? Some of us are professional moms or professional dads or just professional humans, and then we become seniors, and then we fade. So the cycle is evident everywhere. It's evident everywhere. So when we can respect that, the easiest way to really understand kind of the bigger impact of cycles is to look at the moon, because we are part of a bigger system, right? More so than just the system of our community or our brain and our hearts and our bodies. We are also part of a solar system, and the planets, just in case you need a little refresher, Earth is a planet, but our vantage point is from Earth. So we're not looking back at Earth unless you're an astronaut and you go to the moon and you get to have that really beautiful glimpse. But last time I checked, it wasn't really accessible for everybody to go visit the moon. So we have Mercury and Venus, obviously Earth and Mars, and these are called the personal planets. And then we have Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And there's a differing debate if Pluto is still a planet or not. So a child's book called Earth that my kids have consider Pluto the family pet. So it's part of the family. It cycles a little differently than everything else. And then the energy that is closest to us on Earth is our moon. So the reason why we look to the moon is that it regulates our mood and our emotional bodies. And when we can cultivate emotional intelligence, we actually have so much more strength and resilience in our lives. And the moon gives this interest into cycles that all the planets do with us and our world. And while you may be like, oh, Jupiter is so far away, how does it influence us? Well, have you seen how enormous Jupiter is? It is the biggest thing in our system that we know of. So imagine if Jupiter just fell out of the solar system, that gravity had a whole different feel. What would happen to us here on planet Earth? Kind of scary to think about, but it would really disrupt, because as we are in orbit, all this energy that's orbiting with us in the heavens is influencing us. So I don't want to go too into that. I will do that at a later time, but just know that in this cycle, the moon is a very sacred energy that reflects to us. So the moon travels through a cycle that's about 28 days, give or take, okay? There's 13 lunar cycles in a year. So it's kind of interesting that we regulated our years based on the sun and the months based on the moon. However, there's 13 lunar cycles and there's only 12 months. So without really diving deep, that's just for my people who need to ponder and think on things. Just to pay attention, that means that there's going to be 2 cycles of the moon that repeat in 1 year. All right, too detailed. Back to the point here. The moon will cycle. There are 4 major cycles. There is the new moon, the first quarter moon, the full moon, and then the third quarter moon. Okay. And they actually break down into 8 cycles too, but to simplify, we're going to look at 4. There's 4 seasons. There are 4 stages to the breath. You have the start of the inhale, the top of the inhale, the exhale, and the bottom of the exhale. All right. And they actually correlate. And these 4 phases of the moon, 4 cycles of the moon, major cycles coordinate with not only our breath, but also the seasons, winter, spring, summer, and fall. Winter is considered the new moon in the northern hemisphere. Spring is the first quarter, same cycle, remember? So it's this pattern. Summer is full moon, and fall or the autumn equinox is that last quarter. And so this symbolization of these cycles can really help us create some structure of how to engage with our own energy. Okay, so here's another layer that I invite in and encourage is that I truly believe the planets are the skies, the heavens, are the handwriting of God. And there are a lot of people who can argue, and that's not my department, and so I'm not going there, but I want to let you know that there's a lot of argument for the power of astrology, even in the Bible. And it's just been around for a very, very long time. And so when we can actually use the 12 signs of the zodiac to help guide us, the wild thing is that the moon travels through all 12 signs in 1 lunar cycle, and it will always have a new moon at a cycle. Now, I didn't share this part, but it's good to know that the moon represents more of the feminine energy. And that feminine energy is so powerful. But we can't have the moon without the sun. We can't even be on Earth without the sun. So what we want to do is really look at what energy is the sun traveling through and what energy is the moon reflecting back. And the sun's going to take a whole year to go through all 12 signs of the zodiac. And the moon goes to every like 2.5 days, okay? So it cycles and orbits, obviously, around our planet much more quickly than the Earth does around the sun. Now, just to be clear, this pattern that the moon has been traveling through, the Earth and the moon have been together for billions of years, and the moon is created from substance of the Earth. My kids are highly fascinated with meteors and asteroids, especially because an asteroid crashed into the Earth and created the formulation of the moon. And we are fortunate to be here on this Earth because of the water. And that water is what really creates that sacred energy. And the moon then also rules the tides of that water. And that water is more feminine, as is earth energy. The masculine energies are fire, like our sun, and air. And so we have to have all this energy to create life. The moon also correlates to the gestational cycle of a female. So when she begins her period, it is the same as the new moon, or conjunct, when 2 things sit together, because that is when the moon and the sun sit in the exact same position in the sky. And then you have the first quarter. So when she begins her cycle, and then she has the first quarter, and then she is, that full is when is fertile, fully fertile, all right? And then the last quarter. These the menstrual cycle, the menses come from the same energy as the moon, and as does the gestational cycle of conception. And then, right, I think anybody who's dealt with pregnancy, there's actually 4 trimesters. All right, there's the healing part that comes. You don't just pop a baby out and then boom, you're right back. There's a healing part, there's a closure, there's a making peace. So the structure of the moon guides how I teach and how I live and how I support others. So I thought this would just be a really good, quick introduction, and hopefully is something that you can take one little aspect and just ponder it and be more connected to the natural energy that's cycling around you, including yourself. Because when we really work with that sacred essence of ourselves, we work with these qualities that help us shift our soul and listen to the calling of our own personal highest and live with meaning that way. So I thank you for tuning in. This is a little bit raw, and hopefully the little segment can help you. And maybe you just pay attention to where the moon is cycling and paying attention to your own personal energy, because the moon rules our mood, our inner emotions, the way we nurture, and the way we engage day to day. So if you want to keep up with how the energy of the moon is influencing, join my Facebook group, Mindfully You. And each day I make a post of what element the sun is in, what element the moon is in, and what we can tune into to be more present and more mindful. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you being here and tuning in. And I will come back again another day and another time with more insights and more tidbits. Until then, peace.